Hey, we are live after 30 minutes of pre-show that didn't get recorded with Crow Inquisitors. We're here, so we're going to play some Burning Wheel, do some Crow Inquisitors. Where we last left our heroes, they had been drawn into, well, we see Liren. He has a top hat and he starts singing, "Come with me and you'll be."
It's like eerie and creepy.
In a world of pure imagination. Yeah. So he rolled 16 successes on a magic roll to attempt to bring you all into an illusion. The bridge that you are currently crossing in Lucerta to get to the district where you think Faustus is, where you know Faustus is, I think, at this point, has been shrouded in illusion. Basically, the way that his magic works is he can tap into your brain directly and basically like insert images into your brain. So you're going to start thinking that other things on this bridge are existing that aren't there, and then it probably will slowly morph into something that's not even the bridge at all. We'll see how that all looks for your characters as we kind of get.
Not to give you ideas, but I'm really surprised he didn't just make us all look like demons to each other.
PvP. The nightmare episode just took a strange turn. Or not strange turn, a more violent
actually
turn.
not a bad idea. I'll have to think about it. Like, there's a couple of ideas of how I want this to go down.
But
Yeah, well, so part of it is like, it's just like what Liren wants to do is the main thing, right? Like what his like beliefs and motivations are, and I have a couple of those written down for myself. I also want to use this as an opportunity to do some character arc progression on all of you guys. Connor revealed Cantarius' deepest, darkest fear to me via chat, and it would be really great if we could get that to the forefront at some point today. That'd be super cool. Theo has a bunch of stuff going on. I think it would be cool to like, we still have this flashback where he like talked to his wife before he like got resurrected that we haven't gone back to yet, and it might be cool to weave that in here somewhere. There's a bunch of stuff going on here that I think will be fun to explore. I'm not planning necessarily on like dragging this out on purpose just to make it the nightmare episode. If you guys are really good at rolling and like a specific Cantarius, right? He has like aura reading and stuff. If he manages to figure out what's happening and like kills Liren right away, then oh well, right? Like that's the way the dice go. But I would like at least a short snippet with each of you as you're like starting to go into this illusion, just to see what he can glean from your minds and what he might reveal as a nightmare to you guys as an illusion. But we'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and do beliefs and instincts and whatnot, and just double check to make sure everybody's are still as you want them to be. My assumption going into this was that we would maybe spend a good chunk of the episode dealing with this illusion stuff. It's certainly an obstacle that you could make a belief about more specifically if you would like to. Up to you guys. So Cantarius, let's take a look at yours here real quick. Oh, you still have an instinct that you need to fill in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I had a funny joke to input.
Never trust what you see.
Then I saw that, and that. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There you go.
What was it?
Never trust what you see.
Then he just automatically succeeds.
No, I was thinking because it was always be on the lookout for the ties that bond you. So that actually would be like pretty tangential. Actually, never trust what you see.
Well, given that Cantarius currently can't see through normal sight at all, I don't know if that would make sense as an instinct. It could be about
his eyes can like only see reality, right? So it's like maybe he can trust what he sees now. Maybe it's that direction.
Always trust what you see.
Yeah, only trust what I see, right?
I don't know. I'll think about it while everybody else is doing theirs, but I'll just do beliefs.
As a reminder, Cantarius, your celestial sight does have the option to decipher what spells are being cast around you, right? Like what magic is going on. So you could make the instinct about that, right? Always try to decipher what magic is being used around me or something like that, right? Because sometimes it automatically reveals it, but other times you have to roll for it, right?
Wait, say it again.
Because it says you can see orbs of spellcraft. The obstacle to detect a spell cast is 6 minus the spell obstacle. If the ob is 0, the spell is seen outright.
He's saying maybe you have an instinct to always look for the magic being cast, right? So then I guess like if a spell's cast and you didn't say, oh, I want to see what spell that is, and later you think about it, you could be like, oh, I have an instinct. Can I have looked to see what that spell is?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
that's the only aspect of Celestial Sight that doesn't happen automatically. I guess
always deciphering spells. Is that what?
Yeah, you technically you could do other aura reading things because you don't. Celestial Sight does not give you the ability to automatically know what all the auras mean. You just see in auras now.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be about that, like whatever you would be doing instinctually with all that stuff.
Yeah, always deciphering auras.
Yeah, always attempt to decipher.
It makes me sound like I'm Tylee.
Right.
Your aura's so pink.
Well, the twist we didn't know we needed, Cantarius becomes an astrology girl.
I still don't know I need it. Okay, so beliefs. This world is more than blood and gold. I will use the intellectual discipline to clear the obstacles on my path, despite the risks. The world will not end, not on my watch. We will reach Faustus. I am a demon hunter, but my friends come first. I will make sure all of my friends stay alive as we battle the nightmares.
Nice.
Always deciphering auras. Always offer forgiveness to those who repent. Always be on the hunt for demons.
And we can leave off your giant list of traits.
Thanks.
The only one that's new is Celestial Sight.
You always offer forgiveness for everyone but yourself, basically. Because I feel like since you don't believe in God, it's like you're not really into that. So you're like, oh yeah, I'll forgive all these people, but it seems like you don't forgive yourself.
Wow, that was deep.
Well, I was just thinking he's not like a particularly religious person, but if he's like, oh yeah, I forgive people. So I feel like that means
that's a logical conclusion.
Yeah, he doesn't forgive himself, but he's like, oh yeah,
Adam, stop giving away my character arc.
It's just spoilers.
No, I actually have thought about this recently. That's pretty spot on.
David.
Cantarius is my bro. Theo knows.
We talk.
Sergio may have repented.
He got super religious and then, kind of faded,
But the Inquisition is still beyond saving. I will ensure that its leaders are punished and its membership disbanded.
Yep.
My father and Faustus.
That'll be the thing today.
Yeah.
Because that's what this guy's in charge of.
Right. My father and Faustus have both thrown their lots behind my nephew. To get to Impida and Luca, I must reach the demon that has claimed them. The mountain before us looms ever larger. I must get through this illusion if I'm going to get to the heart of it. On my blade of my life, I shall hold the enemies of God at bay. The greatest of these is Faustus and his master. I will expel the demon from its host one way or another.
The greatest of these is love.
Mm-hmm.
The enemies of God. No, never.
Yeah.
Cool.
Whoops.
And then your instincts have stayed the same pretty much the entire game.
Yeah,
so.
have a weapon, kill people, don't let people diss God. Right.
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's take a look at Alfons.
My family will always come first. Now that the city's in chaos, I will ensure that my son is saved.
Mm-hmm.
We must finish the fight so that Lucerta can finally be at peace. The next step is defeating the ones causing this vision. If I lose the orb, it's game over, man, so I will escape this vision.
Nice.
All right, cool. And then you basically have the same instincts. Sweet. Oh yeah, we got to remember Lucky.
Is that a particular quote from something? It's game over, man? Or is that just...
Yeah.
That's something...
Over, man.
I think the way that Jared is saying it is...
Yeah.
Well, you forget, Jared doesn't make things. He just...
It's very true.
He doesn't make things
all
up.
His creativity is
more
blatant. Well,
let's
be real.
It goes into stealing others.
All creativity is stealing from others, but Jared just does it more blatantly than everybody else.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun, Connor.
It's a reference.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jared's just
stealing.
Jared's just finally accepted that. We're all still in denial.
It's a reference or it's a parody.
It's from Aliens.
90% of them are SpongeBob quotes.
But... You never seen Aliens? I haven't either, actually. I've just seen so much about it that I feel like I've seen it.
All right, cool. And then last but not least, Adam, what is Theo doing today?
I haven't changed them, but they still kind of fit, even in the nightmare. Okay. I must transcend to sainthood, protect those I love, and enact the justice of the one true God. I will strengthen my faith. There's one God, the rest are demons. I will help find and defeat Faustus and secure keys. I'm destined to save the world, but Asia is my main concern. I will find her and protect her at all costs. Oh, I didn't change that.
Oh yeah, that one needs to be changed.
I think it's just I hope.
It probably should just be. I mean, Asia isn't really your main. Well, I guess we could keep it if like the nightmares are going to be used against you in that way. Maybe.
Yeah.
It could be changed slightly to be like, I am destined to save the world, and it could be like, but I also like care about those I like. I worry for those I love, or something like that. Like, because this belief has been about, though I am destined to save the world, I still have human connections that I care about, and like I'm not gonna like give up everything to like my heroism, my like self-sacrifice does not. I'm not gonna sacrifice my loved ones to save the world. So you could change it to be more general.
Lame. Get on my level.
Cantarius is like, I'll sacrifice all y'all.
Yeah, let's go. No, it's just me.
Cantarius's goals required sacrificing his loved ones to save the world because his loved one was the problem.
I will not sacrifice them to save it.
Sure. All right. I love that I get to use that against you now. Perfect.
If wielding power will enact the God's justice, then I will take it eagerly. Always trust my friends and never heed danger.
And then so many traits.
You do never hear danger, do you?
Nope. And then we got clairvoyant to keep an eye on. You get to have a call on for one skill of the player's choice per session. So
does Aura of Holiness affect this at all? Like, does it give like a -1 to it? Or
well, Aura of Holiness will certainly let Cantarius find you much easier. In theory, technically, the illusion is clouding his ability to see auras in a similar, like, because his entire mind is being pasted over with this image.
You'd like to think so.
It's just a neon
How does Liren even know? How does Liren even know that I'm? Oh, he's reading my mind. You said, okay, never mind.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's telling your brain what to see, and so your brain is seeing that in auras, but it's still seeing it, right? The idea is,
my thought was Liren would just show me real life stuff, and then I'd be like, my sight came back. How did that happen?
I think that's definitely depending. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. I'm trying to decide whether or not I make another roll for Liren right now to read your minds. I feel like this would also have to have been before, like, you guys, because I don't know if he can keep the illusion up and use other magic at the same time.
It would make sense that if he could do it without alerting us, he would try that first.
So should I make one roll for everyone to be like how much he can read of your surface thoughts as you guys are walking across the bridge? Does that make sense to everybody?
Well, the odd would be different for everybody, right? Because it's probably like your will or whatever.
Well, I think he's just making an. Well, I guess he doesn't have aura reading. Let me check what he actually has at his disposal here, because this will determine somewhat of whether or not, like, how much of the aura stuff Cantarius will actually see.
If he's just casting a spell, the spells all have their own obs, right? So maybe that's
true. That's true.
Then it could just be one.
That makes sense. Okay, so he's doing illusion. He can give people traits. He can practical magic. Right. Okay. Yeah. So the intellectual discipline does not let you. So Connor has a special thing with intellectual discipline to do aura reading because of his demon magic stuff and the second sight. Arcane knowledge is a proxy for an academic skill. So he could do
empathy.
Yeah, exactly. He could do like astrology would probably be the closest. Like if he wanted to like know something true about you guys. But I think his other options are pretty limited because like the practical magic stuff he can do like administration, almanac, school of thought skills, ancient languages, folklore, foreign languages, any wise. So like, he could maybe figure something out there, but I feel like it makes more sense if he doesn't have access to like your brains in the same way. then man, I guess I'm trying to think of what, because I always pictured intellectual discipline being able to do stuff like that, but I'm curious what even he would be able to do. Because we basically, what I'm saying is Cantarius, we made him able to use aura reading as a special thing. That's not a thing that anyone with the intellectual discipline can do.
Sure.
But I think that Theo's discipline, the influential discipline, I think I did add empathy as one of the practical magic things, but maybe because you can
empathy is a made up skill. We can just say it is whatever we want it to be.
That's what I was just thinking. Is everybody fine with like giving him the ability to proxy empathy, which is the non-magical version of aura reading? So he can try to find out like intents and traits on your character sheet and like stuff like that, like just normal, not magic stuff.
Yeah. Which to be clear also means that anybody who has arcane knowledge of us can also do that. So it's not just a bad thing to say yes.
Well, I would add it to the practical magic list, I think.
Okay.
So that's like the separate list that I have at the end of like all the skills you can proxy beyond that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess I just meant that like if we say yes, it's not just that he gets to use it on us. Obviously, we can also use that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense to me. It would be weird, I think, for the intellectual discipline to not
be able to read
kind of
thoughts.
Thought skimming, at least.
Yeah. Okay, in which case, the obs are basically such that I feel like I just make a one roll, and then that's how much I can get from you guys, because the way it works is, like, for example, it's ob 4 to see a person's intent.
Yeah, and then you would just be increasing the ob for, like, scale and stuff like that.
Exactly, yes. We would look at those obs, exactly. So let's see, because then part of this is, like, determining how deep he wants to go. Because he could try to see your mood, a character trait, a die or call on trait, an intent, an instinct, a belief, a character's past, a character's future.
I mean, if he's looking for our greatest fears, our past is probably the most effective, but that might probably be pretty hard.
I have a feeling that intellectual discipline cannot see someone's future, but you could probably see their past through memories.
That makes sense.
So that would be the highest he could go, which is an ob 8. To be fair, he did just roll 16 successes.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Because if he fails this, and we could also do it graduated too, just to see how many successes he gets and how much he has access to. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Just be like, as high as he gets is how much he has access to.
Yeah, although they don't usually let you do that, right? You have to pick an ob, and then if you fail, you fail, right? Yeah. I've had many times where I wished I could do something like that. It doesn't seem to let you. I mean, I don't know.
Though to be fair, graduated, I think it is a little bit flexible. I have let you guys do similar things to this in the past, or at least other campaigns, where it does not say specifically that graduated tests can't be employed in certain circumstances. It just says here's an option. Like if there's a breadth of knowledge that you could come up with, that's an option.
I guess then the question is, we won't know at what point he's failed as far as magic tax or us knowing that he's done it, right? Like, I guess there has to be a point where he's failed because, and if you do graduated, you can't fail.
Yeah, but if he gets if he gets only one success, then he doesn't learn anything because the highest one is mood.
But is there a point?
And to be fair, he would have to add the breath obstacles either way, so he might actually fail at the lowest level. Let me check what those would be first. Okay, so he would be rolling. He would need to cover the conflict, right? So that would add an ob to it. This would. Well, I guess he just needs to. Here's the question: we haven't done a whole lot about sustaining spells and things, but I guess the art magic kind of just is like the duration. It kind of determines that, right?
Yeah, I think usually, like especially for faith, you're doing things for a role or for a conflict. That's I think the time it usually comes up.
Yeah, I don't think
that was for magic. I don't remember. But.
Basically, what I'm saying is, I don't think we've ever ruled anything being like you've already cast a spell and that spell is still active, so you can't cast another spell. I don't think we've done those.
I don't think so. No, I don't think it's like concentration in D&D, right? It's like you're just casting a spell that lasts a while, right? I think. That's always been my assumption.
At the very least, it's certainly different from like base sorcery and Burning Wheel has stuff like that I don't remember seeing anything about art magic. It's just like how long it takes to cast the spell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then once it's cast,
Because theoretically, duration, like if you were maintaining a spell, you should just be able to do it as long as you're maintaining it. So if a spell has a duration, it sort of implies that you're not maintaining it, in my mind, right?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, so he'd have +1 ob from the conflict, because he would want to be able to read your minds the whole time if he can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then breadth would be a group or a handful. So his base, the additional obs he needs to add is +4. So that means the very lowest he could get to learn anything is ob 6 to do what he wants to do. I feel like that's reasonable to start it at ob 6, and then the last one would be ob 8 plus, so it would be ob 12. 6 to 12, he actually learns something.
Sure, that makes sense.
Okay, let's do it that way.
To me, anyways, I don't want to speak for everybody.
I feel like that's just the easiest way to do it, instead of having individual rolls for like all the different things you could try and like on all of you.
Yeah.
The magic allows us to like just be like, I'm doing it against all of you. The end, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what we would change if he was doing it against a single person, because the magic has its own obs that are irrelevant if we were targeting.
Yep.
So.
All right, let me find his character sheet.
I'm gonna switch my race to gnome, so I have advantage on saves against magic.
Okay. Yeah, one of the most dangerous things about Liren right now is that, well, we'll get to it.
He's a gnome. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes.
Adam's co-GMing. He's sending gifts of what's his name, William Dafoe in our chat.
That's terrifying.
Man, he does not have a lot of forks for this.
It's not going to be able to lead to sound.
Well, that's a fun one.
What the gift?
I'm going to let him use boneheaded wise. That seems relevant to read people's minds.
Gross.
I think that only works on people who are boneheaded, right?
Well, I think we can all assume that you guys are pretty boneheaded.
I don't know. What's our perception? I've got
in a
poor perception,
in a personality sense, you know.
Sure.
He's already spent a bunch of Artha, so I don't think he's going to do that now.
And I mean, really, the skull is made out of bones, so
exactly.
He's not reading the skull. He's reading the stuff.
Oh no!
The skull.
That's so terrible.
He is reading the skull. Okay.
I forgot he also has a. Wait. No, he wouldn't have a superficial wound anymore.
You're right. It probably have gotten worse by now. It's probably a light wound.
Superficial wounds don't ever get worse. That one would have gone away.
They do if you take more.
Yes, but he hasn't. He still has the midi wound.
Oh, okay.
Actually, he would have gotten.
Those don't stack, do they?
Yeah, they do.
If you're suffering the penalty of a die penalty from a midi wound, you don't suffer an increased ob from a superficial wound, do you?
Yep.
Why?
It all stacks. Yeah. I don't know.
But if you have a light wound and a midi wound, you don't take -3, do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It all stacks. Yeah. So right now, as he does he got his mini wound treated. There's no reason he wouldn't have. He had they have demon healing and stuff, but he still has a light
demon
wound
healing.
Penalty.
That sounds made up.
He still has the light wound penalty for like recovering from the midi wound, right? He's gotten treatment. I'm gonna make that roll again.
You heard of
determine things.
You heard of what's his name? Shoot. Darth Plagueis the Wise.
That makes more sense.
It's like demon healing. That's not a real thing. Darth Plagueis the Wise.
It's not a story a priest would tell you.
Somehow you did that line in William Dafoe's voice.
Me? Yeah.
Very well, Spider-Man.
Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Have you ever heard the story?
It's happening.
Okay, so this means that he has gotten the. Well, that would be Mads Mikkelsen.
Right.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Darth
Faustus is the guy.
Plagius. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. So that would mean, and now I have to figure out what the ob actually was based on these. So it would have been ob 6 was reading a mood. Ob 7 would be seeing a character trait. So he is at the level of he can see your mood, any character traits you have, any die or call on traits you have, and also what your intents are. So the most important thing that I need to get from you guys is what is your current intents as you go across this bridge?
Get to the other side.
The other side, absolutely. The same the joke. I ain't a chicken, but that's definitely my goal.
Hey,
Fair enough.
yeah.
To teleport to the other side.
Hey, cheating.
Get to the other side and fight Faustus, kill him, and take the keys.
Yeah, really getting to Faustus is the actual.
Yep. That's clear enough of a reason for him to like try to trap you here in the first place anyway. So this also
really
means that
a reason.
for the conflict, he's able to understand your intent. So if you he can sense what you're going to do, which makes sense, right? He can read your mind. He can sense what you're going to do before you do it. So let's see what character traits and die traits and stuff you guys have access. I'm just trying to think of what he has at his disposal to like mess with you guys with, because he does not know your instincts or beliefs or your pasts. So that so he knows that Cantarius
he might be able to extrapolate a little bit. He may not know our deepest, darkest fears, but
he knows you guys somewhat.
And he could probably guess at those things.
He certainly knows a lot about Dellon and Alfons because he worked for Sergio for forever. So there's no reason he wouldn't know anything there is to know about you guys. He also knows, so basically, I guess it's all the traits. He knows all your traits because there isn't a different type of trait besides those 3. So let's see, Cantarius, he knows that you have celestial sight. That's an important thing. He knows that you have affinity for demons or of martyrdom. That'll be an important one to know. Resigned to death. Yeah, so he knows all of those traits, right? That'll definitely be a thing. Dellon, he knows. What are the most important things for you here? Probably like sworn to the church.
Actually, I think it's the end of the season. I think it's time for a trait vote.
Hurry.
And then after we finish this episode, we'll put our traits back on.
Give us to trait vote all of our traits off.
Yeah.
So he knows religion and obligation and stuff for you. Alfons, he knows tall tale teller, rapier wit, lucky, charismatic, glib. Okay. Yep.
Would we just roll like a will?
No, because you're not really resisting this so much as he's just able to sense these things by using his magic.
Yeah, the magic doesn't really care how good you are at doing stuff. It's a little strange in that way, but
just how good you are at.
It's not always a defensive thing, let's see. He knows life is death, glory hound. Those would be ones he would maybe use against you. Okay, all right. Believer, yeah. Okay, cool. Because he's some ideas. Okay, so I'm trying to think of where to begin with all of this. So, do we want to begin with Cantarius, or do we want to end with Cantarius as we do a quick round through all of you?
Well, based on how little time we have, we should start with Cantarius.
Well, I feel like maybe we start with you guys so that we can at least get a snippet before Connor unravels the whole thing in one roll, right?
We'll all walk into our nightmare and then we'll focus on his.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just set the scene real quick. So I run in and
you're the GM now. I see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I run in and I say, "It's over, Firelord Ozai. I'm here to take you down."
How do you plan on doing that when you're not even wearing pants?
Oh no! I forgot about the math test. Classic. All right, now we can.
I mean, to be fair, Cantarius did go to university.
For a while.
Cantarius did go to university.
Yeah. I did take math tests. Yeah.
I literally had one of those dreams recently where I was somewhere and I didn't have pants.
Wait, what was that from?
Nice.
Avatar:
The Last Airbender.
Okay. Yeah.
Fire Lord Ozai.
So I think first we see Dellon. So Dellon, you've all stepped onto the bridge, right? And for a couple of steps here, several steps, you are still walking on the bridge, but it seems like, I don't know, to your mind, it doesn't seem, because you're caught in the illusion, it doesn't seem as alarming as it would be if it was actually happening to you in real life, but there's suddenly like a fog that starts to sweep in around the river, right? And happens faster than you would probably have. You would think this is suspicious if you weren't caught in the illusion for a moment here. Yeah. But
it's
suddenly
like a dream where stuff makes sense for some reason, even though you wake up and you're like, wow, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and with 16 successes, that's definitely how this is going to feel for at least the beginning of it, right? Suddenly, there's just kind of fog surrounding you on either side, and you get about halfway across the bridge, and it becomes clear to you like that maybe like something is wrong. Like there's fog now covering the bridge too, so you can't see the other side. And then maybe you like turn to one of your friends to like.
I'd probably look at Cantarius and be like,
and he's not there, right? Like, of course, you're alone now.
Sure. Right. I mean, that seems a little strange.
It definitely does. What would you do?
I mean, I probably look for them. Like, Cantarius, what the heck?
Yeah. And I think you start hearing the sounds of battle coming from somewhere, maybe all around you.
Okay.
And I think you blink and maybe like your head, you get a headache for a moment, and when you open your eyes, the bridge is now a scene of like carnage. You see like lines of dead holy knights. You see these shades that you guys were fighting earlier, like kind of puppeting corpses of cultists and just tearing into like what the innocent citizens that were kind of that were being protected by these holy knights, you think? And they're like running, right? They're running towards you, and they're like reaching out their hands like, please, holy knight, bishop, save us. And then they get like cut down and like consumed by these shades. What would your initial response be?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably, as soon as I saw them chasing people, I would have probably tried to go fight them. Just try to like, obviously I know that I can't kill them because I don't have a magical sword.
Yep.
But I can at least I can destroy the whatever bodies they're inhabiting, right? So that they're less effective.
Yep.
So yeah, I would rush in to try and buy them time to get away.
Mm-hmm. And I think as you do so, right, like you there's like a crowd, right, that's like between you and the shades, and you're trying to push through the crowd, right, to get to the enemies. You're like, get behind me, right? And suddenly, like your movement kind of just slows to a crawl as like they keep pressing in around you, like reaching for you, like save us, Dellon, save us, and they're clawing at your armor, and then like slowly and surely, like the shades, like you literally can't move. Like your arms are being like pinned down by all of them. They're like literally like pulling your like sword arm down. Like you're just like suddenly trapped in this giant crowd of like citizens, and you just kind of watch inexorably as like the shades start to like just mow through them, and you're trying desperately to like get somewhere, anywhere, like get ahead of them so you can save them. But then they become shades, right?
Okay.
And then now you're being dragged down, and everything kind of goes dark around you. You still think you're on the bridge, but like you're being dragged down into a morass of like bodies and shades and carnage, and like just darkness is starting to overwhelm you as like the shades all are like going on top of you. And you feel like as if your armor and your shield are like keeping you from getting killed somehow, but like you just can't. It's like suddenly you can't breathe, and like you're just so stifled by all of these, and like the cries. Their cries are still in your ears somehow, right? These kind of echoed cries of like, "Save us, Dellon, save us! You're the only one who can save us." That's what we get from the beginning of Dellon's vision as we kind of cut away to I think Alfons. Alfons, you are crossing the bridge, and were you thinking of teleporting across the bridge? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's one of my instincts. Always find a reason.
What
to
if he
slay
like
others.
teleports and he's like drowning, but he doesn't realize it until he kind of like wakes up?
Yeah,
He
so that's
teleports
what
to
I'm wondering.
Shadesmar.
Well, like if he's teleporting, but he can't really see where he's
Exactly.
going. But he
That's what I'm wondering about
He doesn't
the
even know if
situation.
he's dying or not because he's so like, controlled.
I feel like it's unlikely that like Alfons would just randomly teleport across the bridge without his friends. If you think you can just walk across the bridge, but there's definitely a moment, Jared, where like a similar thing happens, right? Like there's fog starting to like appear around you and like covering everything. And if your first instinct would be to like be like, okay, guys, we need to like cross the bridge now. Like there's something happening. Then what does that look like? What is that? What you do?
Wouldn't it be like a
happening?
speed test or something?
Sorry, what's happening across the bridge?
You just start to see like a fog start to come in, like on the river, and like the rest of the bridge, like the half you haven't crossed yet, starts to be covered in fog too, so you can't see like what's ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, Alphonse isn't a weatherologist, so I don't think he really thinks much about it.
Right. So you would keep walking for now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I think you don't realize that you're alone as quickly as Dellon does, right? You just keep walking and you just assuming that everyone's around you, right? And maybe you can see like silhouettes of Cantarius, Dellon, and Theo around you, but like the fog is starting to get really thick, and like you're starting to like their shapes are kind of becoming less distinct, and you see Dellon like stop for a moment, and then like you blink and like the fog is just so thick you can't even see them anymore. What would you do at that point?
So does the like surround, like other than them, does the surrounding change at all?
No, it's like you're really in really deep fog, and like you can't even see the bridge anymore. Really, like the sides of the bridge. It's like you're just like in a blanket of fog, and like maybe you see like Cantarius' silhouette slightly ahead of, like maybe like 10 paces ahead of you.
I mean, he'd probably try to teleport to Dellon if that's an option.
Good question. Let's take a look at spatial real quick. Because like you could do arcane action just like to get to them. That's not too difficult, except for I guess the fact that you have to, you like don't know where he is. Like I think it's gonna be easy enough for you to like hop over there with like teleportation, right? If you're just like, I knew that Dellon was like 5 paces to my left, and you like try to teleport over there. I think you can just do it automatically, but like he's definitely not there, right?
My real body doesn't like fuse with him in real life.
No.
Implode.
I think Dellon is already in his own vision and has moved away from where you thought he was, right? So you teleport and you're just kind of like in the fog still, like Dellon, like he's not there, right? And now you're really lost. Like you're not even sure where you are at all. Like you feel like almost like you've been transported back to the demon realm. Like the fog is so thick, and like you feel like you're standing on clouds almost.
I mean, call me a one-trick pony, but he'd probably just try to teleport to a different part of the city then.
Sure. Okay, where would you attempt to go?
What's nearby? Is the Coliseum near us?
It is, yeah.
Wait, no, not the Coliseum. Wait, the Coliseum is where the king was, right?
Coliseum's where we're trying to go.
That's where Faustus is. Yeah,
Wait,
teleport to the.
Can you
teleport
mark
to
where we are
Faustus.
on
That'd be great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, wait, why didn't we just do that? Why didn't you just
bridge.
teleport us there in the first place? Why did we walk there?
Because you'd probably be surrounded. I think also
could have just taken the Eagles.
In character, Dellon wanted to like help make sure the city was okay as
true.
you were going through it. So
that's true.
Isn't Dellon's house like right here-ish or something? Or
Dellon's house is here now on the island.
Oh, that's not too
Way
far.
back over there. Gonna go all the way back there.
Is there any other landmark near us?
There's the Coliseum. There's the the university would be like right over here. It's a pretty big place.
Mm-hmm.
There's the noble estates and stuff over here.
I'll just teleport to Dellon's house. Why not?
To Dellon's house, okay.
That's not far.
So you're trying to gauge the distance that you would have to travel if that's where you were going.
Yeah.
By instinct and by memory. Okay. I really need to come up with a better system for this. Because you do an arcane action, op is 1 plus the obstacle of the test at hand. Let's see. Base on 4. And you just need it to last for 1. Let's say ob 8.
Jeez. Getting to heaven wasn't that much harder.
Yeah, I think most of this is just because of how disoriented you are.
Okay.
Because like ob 8 will mean you actually do get there. That's what I'm saying, right?
I'll use essential to just fork.
Okay, so if you're taking time to like use the essential discipline, I think you can go ahead and do that, right? Or you're just forking it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Does continuous help having more time to focus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can fork it.
Okay. And then 2 from my +2 magic.
Or a magic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Right in the money.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Jared, I think the last thing, like you start to gather up your magic to do this, and you know that you can, right? Like you feel like you can just like you start to channel you start to gather the energy, and you start you in your mind you can see the channel, like where you can push the energy, and as soon as you do so, you will teleport, and you will do it correctly. You're very confident about that. But the moment before you trigger the spell, you see Yuma, and she has a knife to her neck. Some shadowy cloaked figure has a knife to her neck in front of you. Do you actually teleport, or do you stop?
You get invaded.
That perception test, or
I mean, you've been bamboozled. Whatever you see, you believe.
Yeah, I don't know if you recall correctly, but last time you got a 2 successes versus an obstacle of 32.
Yeah, like it is as real as you can make it, right? Like,
yeah, he's
okay. So I like if you do get the chance later to still make the transformation, you can do it, right? Like that roll stands. You can teleport from here to Dellon's house in an emergency if you need to. But yeah, I think you see Yuma with a knife to her neck, and I think we'll say for now that it is. I'm trying to think if there's anyone. Oh yeah, that's who it is. Okay, so Alfons, the person holding Yuma at knife point, is Lidio, who is like the twin Inquisitor who still was working for the Inquisition with Sergio, and he was the one who like burst into the cellar when you were doing the exorcism and demanded in the name of Sergio to like stop what you're doing and like come see Sergio, sort of a thing. He's one of the twin Inquisitors who was like your handlers back in the day. But he is standing there. And he has a haunted expression on his face. I don't think you've actually seen this guy since you've been back in town. The other characters have, but you were like gone for that encounter. Mm-hmm. But you see him. He has a haunted expression on his face, but he does have like a knife to Yuma's neck. And Yuma doesn't say anything, but she just looks at you with like a terrified expression. And Alfons, for a moment, you are kind of transported, not like literally, but like in your own memory. This is not like an illusion. To the moment where Yuma was captured by Winter, right? Like, and you saved her from like the haunted expression on her face when, like, basically she like left in season 2. She like left because like Dellon didn't love her or whatever, right? It was a whole like love triangle thing that happened, and she left and then got kidnapped and raped by cultists working for Winter. Remember? And then you saved her.
Yeah.
It was never explicitly stated, David, but yeah. And you're muted, by the way.
Oh. How did you know I said anything?
Yeah, and I think most of it happened in a one-on-one session that we did with Jerry.
Oh, okay. I was like, I feel like I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
I mean, he alluded to it in the set, like the session we were together, but it was never.
It was pretty
never
subtle,
explicit.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't pick up on it, I guess.
You just get like a flashback
right now.
You get a flashback to that moment, Alfons, and like she is still that same woman who's like dependent upon you for safety, right? That's like the instinctual feeling that you get in your gut. It's just like, so I don't know what you do.
It was Lydio, you said?
Lydio, yeah. So like the one of the twin Inquisitors from second season.
Okay. I think there's like a moment of like panic, but then he like puts on his normal charm.
Glib face,
He's like,
yeah.
"Oh, Lydio, thank goodness you're here. Sergio's on the way to confront Faustus. We need all hands
Elon.
on deck. Let's go."
Technically, Sergio's. Well, you could lie to him, but
This
technically,
is the lie.
Okay, cool. Just make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Sergio against
Yeah.
Faustus. All right.
And I'll add, yeah, Elon has joined with the demons. He's trying to bring down the church and reinstate himself.
Sound like Kamala.
I know. I was trying to think of a joke. Elon has joined the demons. So you're trying to falsehood him to be like, no, you're like the people you actually work for.
I mean, it's more persuasion because like the crux of what I'm saying is true. I'm just adding small falsehoods into it.
So what do you want him to do? Basically, just be like, you have loyalties to Sergio. Like this is what we're doing now.
Essentially, we're on the same side now.
Okay. Yeah. I think there's definitely a chance that this could work. I think it'll be more temporary than you're hoping, but you could definitely get him to like probably drop a knife or something, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess you tell me, Alfons, what's your actual intent here? What do you want him to do?
I basically let her go and be like,
let her go. Okay.
Yeah, we're on the same side, so there's no point in having her as a hostage.
Okay. I think this will be difficult because he is being pressured by Liren to do this, right? That's the guy he immediately works for.
Wait, he's really there? I just assumed this was a construct of the illusion.
Isn't Liren a traitor?
Well, we'll.
I'm so confused.
Let's make the roll. Well,
okay, it's fine.
All will be revealed.
I thought this was the nightmare episode. What's going on? There aren't real stakes here. What?
Go ahead and make that roll, Alfons.
Persuasion. Bullcrap, falsehood.
Let me give you a knob here.
What's his title?
Inquisitor.
Right? Inquisitor. I address him as Inquisitor. Video, so I can get etiquette.
Sure.
And I address like Sergio as his holy title.
Yeah, that's fine. You can get an etiquette die.
Okay. Is he noble?
Yes.
Oh, cool. All right, I got noble. All right. What's the ob?
So his will is 6, but he is going to be a +3 ob because of the situation he's in right now.
Oh.
So 9 altogether.
Jeez.
His entire character arc behind the scenes has led to this moment, basically.
Ob 9. Jeez.
Sheesh.
What do we think, guys? Is Alphonse going to fail at a persuasion test? Is that what's going to happen?
Has he ever?
Yes.
Have you? I can't remember every time.
At the beginning, at least.
I take your word for it. I don't remember.
Is there...
Probably wasn't significant.
Yeah, probably not.
Is there time to... Can I fork magic into this or no?
And you cannot fork it. If you would like to try to like do magic, it's going to be a bigger thing. Like he'll probably just start talking at that point. Like if you...
Yeah, I mean, he's threatening to kill you. If you start casting a spell, he's probably just going to do it.
Yep.
And I can spend 1 fate to add 1 dice beforehand, or
1 persona to add 1 dice.
Oh, fate is to reroll a fail.
Fate is the reroll. Yep. Or fate is rerolling failed dice or 6s.
I'll spend a persona. Don't worry about
it. I'm sure you got plenty. We're in the last arc, boys. You got to spend all your Arthur now, or else it's going to be that guy at the end of Skyrim with all the potions.
Yeah, me in every game. Never use consumables ever.
Yeah, he's like,
you think I just do that in
grading out
Skyrim?
all our Artha right now, right before the final battle.
Well,
Yeah, that's his plan.
Jared at least needs to spend a lot of Artha to be out by the end of this arc. David, I think, is fine being conservative
I
with his
usually
Artha.
ride the line of being out of Artha because I need it so often. Yeah.
I mean, I do too, because every time I make a faith roll, it's like,
Oh,
I either
man.
succeed
Let's
or
go.
I don't get anything.
That was clutch there. 9 successes.
Oh, nice. All right.
Oh my goodness!
That's 2 in a row, right on the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always feels really cool. Yeah. So
I wonder what it's like.
So Alfons, it's very it feels very real, right? And all of this is very real to you at the very least. It's still unclear to us as the audience whether or not it is because of what happened to Dellon. We see Lidio like hesitate, right? He doesn't kill her, and he starts to take the knife away, and then doesn't, and then he just says, "Alfons, I think I'm in too deep for this. We made a choice. There's only one way to win."
So did Sergio, and he's redeemed himself. You are not beyond. Look at me.
Yeah, he says.
If I can be forgiven, so can you.
He shakes his head slowly. He says, "I don't think that's true, Alfons. Not after the things I've seen. Not after the things I've done. Sergio's repented." Good for him. I don't know how he can live with himself. Or maybe I do. Maybe it's because all the blood is on our hands. My hands. The things he made us do. You don't understand. This isn't going to be anything. Killing her won't be anything to me, Alfons. What do you say to tip him over the edge?
Oh boy.
You do it. I'll blow us all up.
Yeah, so his implication is basically like, you guys can repent because you don't have as much blood as we do. Like, you made us do all your dirty work, or at least Sergio did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us Inquisitors. Yeah, maybe he says, you know what it's like. You must. Pawns in a game. But I'm not like you, Alfons. I can't break free. It's already too much. If I don't do this, I'm a dead man anyway.
The Nuremberg defense isn't a thing yet, right?
No. You can still talk around that terminology, but
yeah. I'd be like, Lidio, you were just following orders. You didn't have a choice, but now you do. Side with us, and I promise your sins will be forgiven.
And it's not even like your offer of forgiveness or whatever that like gets him. We just see he's just too tired, right? Like he looks at the knife and he just
there's another way out.
Is that what you say?
No. Well, do I like this? We don't like this guy, do we?
No, you've never liked this guy.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to insinuate, or if you're really beyond forgiveness, there's another way out. A way where you don't have to hurt anyone else ever again.
Jeez.
Taking a dark turn, y'all.
Yeah, he gets a look of kind of wild animalistic fervor in his eyes, and he just says, I knew it. This isn't about God or forgiveness. It's just about what obstacles are in your way, isn't it, Alfons? Do you turn back from that, or do you tell him to kill himself? You see the dialogue bubbles in front of you. The dark side and the light side points.
I mean, is it really a dark side?
To tell someone to kill themselves?
Yeah.
Or to not stop them from killing themselves.
He's a murderer. He's a murderer.
He started this trying to kill Yuma. If he kills himself, this was definitely your doing.
What? Well, yeah. I convinced a murderer to kill themselves to save an innocent woman. I don't see the.
This is like the bludgeoning scene all over again. Is there
I'll-
anything else you could do?
I'll just tell you right now, Alfons, you got the persuasion test. You succeeded. You can tell him not to kill himself, and he'll listen
is
to
the
you.
exact
We
same
were just
situation.
playing it out.
Literally the exact same situation. You
We're just-
conceded at intimidating him. You succeeded at persuading him.
I feel like
Decide to do whatever.
he's also in the dream state, so I feel like Caleb could just be like, he cuts her throat, she dies. Because it's like he can do whatever he wants because
I'm telling Jared right now that he can say to this guy, if real or imagined, like, don't kill Yuma, like there's still forgiveness for you, or you know, whatever. Or like, just say, like, you don't have to tell him to kill himself. You can just get him to stop.
What kind of feeling am I getting from God right now?
A very non-suicidal feeling.
Do you get feelings from God? Is this a normal thing that you've been inhibiting for a while now? Or
to be fair, he does have a favored connection to God as opposed to a faith connection to God, which is supposed to be typically more like direct.
Yeah, we're like the first people.
what does that
ever.
mean exactly?
He basically
Just
he gets God is like his warlock patron, basically.
Basically.
Oh, right. Okay. I was thinking this is like some spirit wind stuff.
No.
Okay.
What? Oh, it doesn't matter.
I think he's about to go through and like convince him to kill himself, but then he feels like the crinkle tinkles in like the base of his skull, and he's like, "Okay, God, I'll do the right thing."
Is Spidey tingle?
Didn't like that. Everyone disliked that.
Lydia,
you need like an overlay that has.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was such a good board. Yeah,
It's
such a
funny
good
because-
notification.
It's funny because he was going to get that line if he had talked him into killing himself too, and then instead he goes.
Dellon probably wouldn't have minded. I have a belief about killing these people.
Oh, that's yeah.
I probably would have been appalled that he didn't just kill him himself, but you know.
Yeah, we see this Alfons.
he says, Lydia, honestly, I was gonna convince you to kill yourself, but
Not that.
God doesn't want me to. So obviously there's still room for forgiveness.
And it's again, and I think it's more exhaustion and shock than anything that just lets him. He just lowers the knife, and he's just like staring at you in absolute like incredulity, like what is going on here? Like, but like he's just too tired. He can't go through with this. He's certainly not in a headspace to like be a cold-blooded murderer right now. And Yuma starts to stumble towards you, and then I think we see a long, thin, black spike go through Lidio's chest and into Yuma all the way through, and they both gasp, and then we cut away to Theo.
You dirty, stinking ape.
Friendly fire.
How dare you?
Well, okay. I was thinking it's like this just reminded me of how like actors, instead of just like making them think of something sad in order to cry, they'll build they'll build a whole story behind why, like a whole history of this person, and then they're like, and then this terrible person killed them, and then they just crush you. So that's what I was thinking. It's like this vision. They're like building like, oh, I succeeded, I convinced them, and then the spike comes, and you're like it's like more. It worked more effectively that way. Like as the nightmare or whatever.
Yep, and I will say, Alfons did actually make a roll there. He did actually convince a person. Unfortunately, there's bigger things going on here than one man's character arc.
He sought repentance at the very last second, so he's in heaven. It's fine.
He's in heaven, yeah, maybe.
We'll that sounded like what happened to me too. Yeah.
Exhaustion and shock.
Yeah.
Yes, the signs of forgiveness. Okay, so Theo, a similar thing happens to you, right? Everybody kind of gets covered in fog. That's what happens to everybody in this kind of dream state. To you, it seems like your aura of holiness is lighting the fog in a weird way that makes it seem, to Jared, right, to Alfons, it seemed like he was in the demon realm. To you, it seems like you're back in heaven. It happens kind of slowly. The transition is gradual, but eventually, like, there's a kind of a shining, shimmering cloud. Or you're like in this, like, yeah, kind of like white fog and mist that's like surrounding you on every side, and you are, yeah, kind of caught in it. What's Theo's first instinct when he starts to realize that, like,
I think his
something's
first
wrong?
instinct is like something's wrong, like literally no idea what it is, but he's like something's happening. You know, like that. He's
Your
like,
clairvoyant thing.
I don't know if something's like happening. He's like, guys, I don't know what's happening. That, like, no basis of what that is, but it's obviously abnormal, and so he's like paranoid, I guess, at the very least. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Like probably takes out his trident. Is like, what's going on? And that's about it. Probably doesn't see everybody, so he's like, oh man, I lost everybody. Probably shouts like, it's like, you know, it's like everybody, like, be aware, or, you know, that's probably what he says.
Sure. Yeah, like, everyone watch out, and then you look around, and like no one's around you anywhere, right? Like, you're alone in heaven. And then I think we see Kylea, your wife. She is like shining beatifically, right? Like a heavenly kind of saint-like figure. We've seen her before in the show, and so we recognize what she looks like. And she's standing in the fog and mist ahead of you. And now I would like to play out this scene, Adam, as if it is what your flashback was with your wife, but like maybe halfway through it gets twisted somehow. We'll see how it goes. But I think this is kind of like you reliving what happened there, and then we'll see how that plays out. So what actually, like, how did that conversation start? Because I think, like, for your perspective, it's like you're reliving it again, and like, you know, the things you're supposed to say because it already happened. Because this is like you about to, like, leave, right? Like you're getting ready to be resurrected and leave heaven.
He says,
she's standing there with a sad smile on his face.
I will proceed into my state persona.
Yeah. She's standing there with like a sad smile on her face.
I'm sorry I failed you.
Failed me, Theo? Why would you think something like that?
Failed to protect you. I failed to see through the lies of the church. I failed myself to everything I believed in.
She says, there are many who would blame themselves, or the church, or God, for the bad things that happen in the world. But here, in this place, you see a larger picture. Do you remember, Theo, when we were still together on Earth, on Serragon?
Somewhere by the lake.
No, yeah, she says, we went to one of those mummeries that the church would always put on the children. It's like a religious play. I always wondered at the characters and their choices. The nuns and monks who wrote those plays, they could have made their characters to do no wrong. They could have made a story that involved nothing bad ever happening, everyone living in perfect bliss. And that would be one way to do things, I suppose. But isn't it more glorious at the end of a play, when everyone is taking their bows, and you realize that without that darkness, the glory at the end would maybe not have been quite so bright. The triumph and the victory would not have shined all the clearer. It would not have been as clear to us that the good characters were good. And, well, the playwright themselves, their glory would not have been quite as apparent. The way they wove everything together, even the darkness, into a grand tapestry. Well, here, in this place, you realize that the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. And the story that is being told does involve darkness, but the glory that comes from all of it, I won't pretend to know all of the answers, but I don't think blaming ourselves or the church for terrible things leads us anywhere productive, because we're not seeing everything for how it truly is. We're seeing the small picture, the pebble on the beach, the grain of sand among millions of others, instead of seeing the ocean and the waves and the tide and how it all works together, even storms.
Somehow. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
He's like, somehow I feel, despite all that the great God has done for me, that deep down, there's some filth that cannot be cleansed, some sins that cannot be forgiven. Maybe not from maybe from a loving God, perhaps, but the guilt of loss. And you felt that you could have done something about it, but you failed to do so. The cracks in the plate that cannot be mended.
That too is part of the story. You would not be the man you are today without those cracks. The cracks have been filled in with something stronger. Theo, I have always known that our time together was limited. I have no regrets about the way things happened. You did everything you could. And we were happy while it lasted. And I'm happy now, seeing it all for what it is. I don't want anything here to hold you back. I know you have things to do.
Maybe all that time, it was just fate. I failed then, maybe to succeed now.
Not fate, Theo. Him.
I don't think he has anything more to say.
Yeah.
He's just like, just nods his head, like, yeah.
I think that's how it actually went. But let's back up for a moment. At what point during that could we subvert it? If we backed up and
100% right where I don't want anything to keep you here.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I thought that's where you were going as soon as you said that. Like, I don't want anything to tie you down here.
So are you saying like she should say something else, or that line should be turned into something else?
Yeah, she should. Wait, hold on.
I'm maybe just misunderstanding what you're saying.
Yeah. I think Adam gets it. Like, when she's like, well, I don't want anything to keep you here. I don't want anything to tie you down here. And then she becomes in danger. Like, I don't want to be here for you to come back to, is what she's saying. Right? No? You don't
so
get
she's
it?
gonna like die? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I was thinking when he said some things can't be mended, and maybe she's like, maybe they can't, and then goes on like a slow like goes even deeper, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. The scene was just too good. I just kept going to how it actually was because I was like, nah, I just want to play it out. Okay, I have an idea. Let's do this instead. We'll back up to basically she's like, this is all led to something, right? Like all the glory, all led to this moment, and she says, it led to you and me being together again. And she like, steps forward and reaches out a hand. She's like, you don't have to leave, Theo.
I think he kind of like reluctantly grabs her hand. He's like, he's confused, but he's like still doing it. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
If everything is merely part of God's plan, then your choices are part of God's plan. And that means you can choose to be here with me. Someone else can do what you need to do. Someone else can go save the world. But we're here, right now, in bliss. Don't you want to be with me again?
Yes, but what about what the great God wants? What about the rest of the people? What about...
You've already convinced the gods. The gods are going to do it all for you. You think you're more powerful than a god? Rest now, Theo. You can rest now.
What about... I think it says like, yeah, like, well, what about your sister? What about Asia? She's down there.
Her eyes go hard as agates. She says, what about her?
She'll have to suffer. She'll have to fight them too. What if they fail? What if...
You don't think she's done enough to lead this world into disaster? She was the one who lied to everyone in the beginning.
Well, yes, but what about redemption? What about...
She's done enough, Theo. And you have too. Come, rest.
Well, but I thought I was meant to do this. I thought
you
I was
start to feel the fog
kind
of like covering even more of you and like kind of caressing your cheek like a
I'm thinking of my
candy
belief.
cloud.
I'm thinking of my belief. He's like, well, I thought I was meant to do this. I thought I was meant to find the keys. That this was where the great God was leading me. It wasn't a matter of choice. It was a matter of destiny. I thought.
And where did he lead you, Theo? He led you right to me. Here, in this moment. I think she says, I had a line and then I lost it. You keep going.
Oh, what if? Oh, should I just say it? Or I mean, not. I was thinking like, what if at some point she like pushes him and he like falls through the clouds or something, like back to Earth, like.
I think what Liern is trying to do here is he is trying to keep you here and like locked in this like eternal, what you imagine is eternal bliss, and like forget what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we can make a roll to like see how things are, how that's progressing, whether or not you're because as far as you understand, this is all real, right? Like
yeah.
So what would Theo's reaction be here? Is like, where are we leading towards mechanics? I guess.
I think he was gonna. I think what he was actually gonna say was like, I need to think. And he like starts to walk away. I need a minute to think about this because he's like confused.
Yeah.
So he turns and starts to walk away.
She starts crying. You don't love me anymore, do you? You've moved on. Everything we had was for nothing. Was it, Theo?
No, that's not it.
The moment you found another pretty face, you just left it all behind.
It's not like that at all.
Then why, Theo? I've already given you the answers. God has everything under control. He doesn't need you anymore. I do.
But you're here. You said it yourself. You're happy here.
Happiness is not limited, Theo. We can always go further. More happiness is available to all of us. We can keep finding it together. Eternal bliss, ever maximizing.
This doesn't sound like you. I mean, he's not saying it like, oh, you're not you. He's just saying like, you're not sounding like yourself.
It's been a long time, Theo. I've had a long time to think about what I would say to you, how I would get you to stay with me.
I
have an idea. Would maybe
I
like
think he would go anyways, even if it were real. Like I think he says like, I have to go. I have to go.
Well, here's a question.
Swap scenes, Gib. He turns around, opens the door, and
I don't know what we'd swap to.
I do.
Oh.
Back
You
to Asia. Back to like.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just use the same. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You describe it for us, Adam. What does it look like?
Oh, I was thinking like he starts to like walk away, and she like grabs his arm, and she's like, "You can't leave me." And then he kind of like freaks out and stumbles backwards, and he falls over, and then he kind of like gets up, and then he's not in this bliss anymore. He's like on Earth, but how far should I go here?
Yeah, I mean, we could probably say you're in the monastery then, the monastery where you found Achia in the last session, right? Where you went to her and like we're telling her similar things, right? Like I gotta go save the world, and I just want to make sure you're safe and all that stuff. So maybe we see Achia like lean down, and you're like on the ground, and she says, "Theo, are you all right?"
It's almost like he doesn't remember like what just happened. It's like he's always been.
Yeah.
I must have just fallen,
and I can't get up. Sorry.
Here, stand on your feet.
Where's Faustus? We have to go get him.
Take a moment. You've fallen. There'll be time for Faustus later. This is the last moment we'll have for. Well, I guess we don't know what's going to happen next. Let's just cherish it. She like grabs your hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was in the we went.
Yep.
He was like, I just want to know that you're safe.
I would like to tell you that I will be, Theo, but the whole city is in chaos. Fires, riots, demons. I don't know if I'll ever be truly safe unless you're by my side.
But they need me to fight Faustus.
Of course. I understand that. I guess I'm scared, Theo. It feels like...
I am too.
It feels like we've only had a brief moment together, and now it's going to be taken away again.
But what about the people? What about the city? What about you yourself know what the great God wants. You've seen it. You know what we have to do. You've seen it in the stars.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another way we can take this where he's still trying to stall, but like he can't do the same play over again. Any ideas?
Well, I'm thinking like, what would keep him there is he starts to walk away, and then she like he doesn't see her, so he's like out of vision. And she screams, and then he turns around, and then like I'm trying to think of who would be doing it. It's a similar thing where they like
they're threatening her.
Yeah. Like yeah. Well, I was gonna say like. Did you read the message I sent you?
Oh no, sorry, I haven't had
the most recent one.
Let me check.
I just assumed she was going to try and seduce him, but
I was thinking something like that, and then like maybe he stays with her because that happened. It's kind of like a. Oh, I was trying to think of. Okay. You know how it happens in the end of the actual book of Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know what happens in the end? You basically like. Maybe I should just play it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think that he turns around, and I'm trying to think of who it would be. It'd be like it's like Faustus. He just kind of like appeared out of nowhere, and he's like already having stabbed her, and then and then Theo's like, he's like, no, Faustus, and then he says something like, how could this have happened? And he's like, it's because of you, Theo. It's your fault.
You left her.
And then he like blinks, and he's standing right in front of her with the knife in her himself. And so and then she looks up at him, and he's kind of like she's still standing, and he's just got the blade right in her like stomach.
Yeah.
And she looks up at him, and she's like,
I think she like grabs your cheek, and like her fingers start to fail, and she's just like, Theo, how could you do this to me?
And then I think she falls, and so she's like dying. She hasn't died yet, and so he's just holding her. And then he kind of, I think at that point,
Theo, I think you get a feeling, and this is part of the illusion, right? You get a feeling like you have to use like you have a limited reserve of God's energy. That's what you feel like right now, and you basically are presented with a choice: like use the energy, use the faith power to save the world, or to save Achia. And that's like the choice that you're like given in your mind. Like you're just sure of in the dream state. You're sure that you only have enough power to do one or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe make like a steel test or something.
I was thinking
Steel,
like a I guess diafate is random external. So I guess it would be like a steel test.
Yeah, is it like steel? Is it will? Is it a faith test? To like. Because I think at some point you could do like a faith test to like break through the illusion, right? Like what is true, right? Like what does God actually want me to do? We can go anywhere with that.
Ooh,
Steel test, you're pretty much going to succeed on.
So what if she's like dying? And she's dying, and he says, and she says, or he says, what do I do? Like he says that to her, and she says, please save me, stay here with me. And then, or she says, "Stay here with me, save me." And then I think he kind of like has like a wake up moment for a second. He's like, "Save me," like because then he has like a flashback to when she died like the first time, and she like sacrificed herself. And then he's kind of like,
wait a second,
snapped out of it. Like, wait a second. And it's not that he realizes he's in a dream, but he's just like something's not right. And then. Oh
yeah, like what's your plan for? Can he make another roll? Is it like
I was
he kind of like tipped his hand a little bit, or okay?
I was thinking faith test makes the most sense for Theo.
Okay,
right?
could he manipulate the faith test, or was the faith test kind of like break through that? Like
that's what I'm saying.
Make a faith test.
I'm saying if you can succeed on a high enough faith test, then you could break through the illusion.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a have God tell him what to do. So
right. And I think the idea is that if you don't get high enough, you'll get like your illusion is too strong, and you're like you get the wrong answer from God. And it basically tells you like you have to save her. Like that's the only thing you can do. Like, right.
Spooky season.
So yeah, let's do that. I think that's yeah. Well, let's make that the roll here. So I think it's going to be the Ob 7 like inspiration thing. Or I guess it's Ob 8 right now because it's Darkest Hour. Actually, let's increase it to Ob 9 because of you're also an illusion. Like this is just really difficult right now. So Ob 9 for you, Theo. Faith test. You can spend Persona.
Well, I could use a Deeds point.
Yeah, you could do Deeds point now. Yeah.
If I fail.
You can also spend a Deeds point, after the fact. You don't have to spend it beforehand.
Let's see. I got 5 Persona. That's worth. It's been 2.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Come on, baby.
Ob 9. Ooh, so close. All right. So remember, it's open-ended automatically. So your only choice is to reroll 1 failed dice with 1 fate. If you fail that, though, you can technically spend a Deeds point to like auto succeed.
Yeah.
That'd be a sad way to do it, but
I almost would just be like, okay, what is the worst case scenario? Can
worst case scenario? Yeah, he can. But worst case scenario is just like I think we would just say in canon, like it's just taking a long time. Like time has passed here with this failed roll that like you're wasting time that you would progress things.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh, it's a 2. Dang it. Failed.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I think for now, Theo like he does not get the right answer. Right. He does not get the like break through the clouds light moment, the revelation of what's happening. He's just like I have to save her. She's gonna die if I don't save her.
Deeds point. It's such a waste. Just for 1.
Yeah, exactly, right?
No, I can't do it. I can't justify it.
Yeah. So I think there will be a consequence from this, whether or not it's time or we'll see how it goes with Cantarius. So let's cut back to Cantarius. And let's get that. I do want to get one thing for Dellon to be able to make a roll and go back to Alfons at one point. But let's see if we can. We'll figure out how long it takes Cantarius to figure this out. So Cantarius,
Firelord Ozai, you're not wearing pants.
Exactly. So Cantarius,
Nailed it.
I think so. So you see in the world of auras, right? So for you, it's less like the fog appears everywhere. It's just that the auras that you see around you start to disappear, right? And you're left with no auras that you see because like he's blanketed over them, right? So you slowly are losing your vision, this new vision, and then all of a sudden you're back into normal sight, right? Like that you just see an actual image of what is actually there. And you are, I think you're almost at the end of the bridge, right? You're looking into the embassy district. This is where you lived with your family for a long time. And I think from this view, right, at the end of the bridge, you can see what was once your house, right? The little kind of like Teconi style manor that your father, the ambassador, lived in. And I think your uncle probably lives there now. But you see this. That's like what's prominently on your mind as you just like see there. I think it's pretty clear to you, because one of the things about this too is like the spellcraft thing. Your celestial sight. I'm pretty sure it says. Look at it again. I think it has to do with the ob of the spell. Let's take a look. The obstacle to detect a spell cast is -6 minus the spell obstacle. I guess it was a graduated test. Okay. All right. That's not too bad then. Okay, I thought for a second out there, I thought you were going to just auto succeed, basically. Like it was such a high, but he's rolled high. It wasn't necessarily a high spell op. The idea being this is a subtle enough spell that it's not immediately obvious to you, even with celestial sight, that's what's happening. So you, to all intents and purposes, you believe for right now this is real. What does Cantarius do? You see your house.
Am I aware of like what what the date is? Like, am I aware of what has happened previously, or do I feel like I'm coming home from working construction or something?
I think you feel like it's like an alternate reality. It feels like the current date to you, but like all of your kind of terrible life from the time your family was killed until now has been pasted over with some imaginary life where you never happened.
Okay, sure, yeah. So I'm just like, finally home, and start walking towards the door.
Yeah, we just see like a scene of you walking down the street, and you get to the manor and open the door, and I think there's some like Teconi servant who like nods to you and says, your wife is waiting for you, and you walk in.
Yeah, I probably I don't know, maybe she's in the bedroom with the baby. Baby Winter, or
well, I think this is this is alternate reality. I think like you I think your father is still alive. You tell me, would Cantarius be the ambassador? Would he have become his father, or would that never have been his path? You're technically not full Teconi either. What does a gold burning misting tell us about?
I mean, sure, gold? It could be yeah, it could be he's the ambassador. Because I just think that adds a lot of weight and responsibility to this.
Yeah, you're part of Serrano, you're part of Teconi. Yeah. You can bridge the gap between the sides.
There's a lot to lose if I'm the ambassador. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he and so you said my father's still alive. Maybe.
Yeah, I think your father's still alive, but he's like retired, right? Like you picked up the appointment, and so he's here. I think he lives in this manor. I think what you see then is you walk into like again like a kind of Japanese style living area with like the low table, right? Like everybody sits around it on cushions, and your wife is there in a kimono like clothing, right? Like you mostly most of the time when you're here, you kind of are culturally Teconi, right? Just because of the what your position is and all that stuff. So she's gotten used to wearing like kimonos and basically, and I think your father is also there. I think your mother is maybe passed in this, but peacefully in her sleep, and she's fine, right? Like and so your father is here, like pouring some tea for your wife.
Sure.
And Winter isn't here yet, but like you in the back of your mind, you're like, I expect him any moment now, right? He's gonna come back from wherever he's doing stuff, right? Like
sure.
a brilliant inventor or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What does her wife look like? I mean, this is the first time we've ever seen her on screen, or do we never quite get the shot of her face? Like how is this framed?
I don't have a description for what she looks like, but I think we just see her.
We just see her. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't see.
She's probably a normal, like you married a Serrano, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's just a normal, like Italian, European woman, dark hair and beautiful eyes. I think probably very like demure and reserved. Right. She's not a loud, she's a quiet woman. And she smiles gently at you as you walk in and says, welcome home, my love. Please sit with us. Have some tea. Winter should be home shortly. He has some new invention he wants to show you.
Yes. Good. I assume everything is in order then. Anything I need to tend to?
She laughs softly to herself and says, always something to fix, isn't there, Cantarius? No, nothing like that. Come, sit.
Yeah, I think he goes in. I think he goes and sits down, but he feels like really uncomfortable about it, like he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, and I think all the movements that we're getting throughout these shots, like you sliding open the door, walking across the floor, kind of leaning, kneeling, sitting down on the cushions. If someone's paying close attention, they'll hear the normal sound effects you would expect to hear in that scene. But you would also hear kind of hushed whisper starting to build every time you do anything. The sound of the sliding door also has like a kind of soft whispered voice behind it saying something we can't discern. And then as you walk, each footstep kind of has a soft whisper that happens every time you step. And you lean down in there, and we start to get a low drone in the soundtrack that us as the audience is understanding is there, but you as Cantarius hasn't quite picked up on. Just soft whisper in the background that's kind of slowly kind of building. And, we see a slight scene where you're just kind of like enjoying your family for a moment. And then Winter enters. And Winter is, as we would imagine that, the same actor, but like he's aged up now, obviously, as he would be, just from the time that's passed since we filmed the second season, right? And he is wearing probably, like utilitarian clothes. I think he's maybe like some sort of like professor at the university and involved in like alchemy and inventing and stuff like that, right? And so like youngest researcher in the university's history, that sort of thing, right? And he comes in, he maybe like goes over to like the bowl of water and like washes his hands as he starts talking. He says, "Father, Mother, good to see you. Well, I have so much to share with you, but we'll have tea first, I promise. Just give me a moment here." And he's like washing his hands and drying them off, and then it becomes obvious even to Cantarius at this point. Maybe he doesn't quite understand what's going on, but as as Winter talks, there's like a low whisper behind all of his words, as if there's like a doubling or tripling of the voice. Saying the same things like, "Yes, Father, yeah, hello, Mother," right? Right underneath what's happening. And then, he comes and sits down and starts talking animatedly to you both about the cool things he's doing. Well, how's Cantarius dealing? Do you start to sense that something is off about this?
I think he stands rather abruptly and like maybe like spills his tea.
Yeah, and
the serpent comes over and
exactly, starts picking up, and your wife looks up and says, "Cantarius, is something wrong?"
And then
Cantarius, is there something wrong? Right.
Yeah, and he just looks like really intently at Winter, and like maybe Winter's like just like rubbing his hands like more and more furiously.
Yeah, and he can't stop. Like he's not even by the water anymore, but he's just like
yeah. I think I really want to see what his invention is, so I think maybe the moment just like cuts and he's back to sitting down and that he's got tea in his hand.
Yeah.
And he like comes over and is like pulling out the invention.
Yep. And he shows some sort of like alchemical thing. Let's say, let's say Winter invented gunpowder. Right?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Right? The idea that like he's like, we found this material. Some mines dug it up a lot about saltpeter, and if you apply the right compounds of the stuff, and then he sets off a little like firework, right? Like a little very minor thing, like like a little firecracker type thing that kind of just like crackles a little bit, and he's like, and that's not all we can do with this, think of the applications for mining alone, and he starts to talk about non-violent applications of gunpowder, right?
Yeah.
Because Winter would never even think of such a thing.
I know this is the worst timing, but I got to switch to the laptop real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. So we start seeing that.
Check the message I sent.
Sure. Yeah, Cantarius starts to see that something else is still wrong, right?
Yeah. I was thinking green smoke was going to fill the room, but I hope it doesn't. All right, give me like 1 minute here.
So cool.
Yeah, sure. So then I think
man, instead of fog, it should have been green smoke at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even thought about that until you just said it now. But yeah, that would have been
so I think let's come back to Dellon real quick.
Okay.
So Dellon, one thing I think I want to give you a chance to do is actually like make a roll here. So the shades are starting to pile on top of you, right? Like
let me just I'll make the roll.
The bodies and the shades, and like you're being piled on top of it. Like this is you fighting your way out of it, right?
Okay, I did it.
He tries to
made the roll that I was
making. It just goes through them.
6.
Just kidding. I suppose like I mean, yeah, you described me as basically being like entombed, right? Like by people. All right.
Yeah. How are you actually trying to fight your way out? Right.
Well, so my original plan was, I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying. It was a vision, so it didn't really matter. But I was going to try and use the potential discipline to create footholds, so I could like climb stairs into the air, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you can still get away from everybody. Oh, I can. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to try and create some space with my sword first, because I think if I try to roll that in this situation, I'll fail. So I'm basically going to try and do like a link test, if that's all right. Try and like, yeah. Sure. All right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I think 6 successes is fine.
Oh, I didn't even add any of my forks to any of that stuff.
I mean, I'm not sure how, like, it wouldn't be that high for a link test, right? You can just get an extra.
Right, but don't you get more for links tests?
Not as it stands. Sometimes we've allowed that, but most of the time, no. Most of that's mostly with like Faith has a mechanic like that.
I thought you added more obs, but the more you failed and added more.
No. Strictly speaking, it's +1 or +1 ob or +1 die.
Okay.
We have ruled it that way before. But I think I'm happy to give you like 2 or 3 advantage dice. That's fine with me. Usually it caps it at 3. Okay. So
sure, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with whatever. I mean, if you're fine with it, I could just fork sword in, and then I'd automatically get 2.
Yeah, let's just do that. That makes more sense.
Because I thought I could get more, so I wouldn't have bothered.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
so potential discipline. I have 9 disciplines wise. I assume I can use that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Brawling. Can I use that?
Yeah.
As well. Swords
your goal is just to get out of the pile, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Like shoots out of them. Like Mario.
Well, he is Italian.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I hit my head on a rock and money comes out.
Money's in the.
Let's see. Outnumbered wise, I assume.
If Dellon has to carve his way out of this, he'll definitely get some bodies hit the floor action.
Yeah.
Outnumbered wise, I assume, right?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Can you armored wise since I'm wearing armor?
I don't think so.
Okay. You gave him boneheaded wise to read minds.
Well, yeah, but none of them are armored. It's just your armor.
I'm armored.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if your intent is to get out, yeah, okay, that's fine.
I was fine with it until I remembered that you gave him boneheaded for reading thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute.
You're good. It's like he had like specific wise, and I hate to not use those, right?
Yeah, I know, it's fine. What's the up?
I am figuring it out right now. So you're trying to, let's see, arcane action. Yeah, okay. It's
like climb. I don't know. Is that a skill?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's probably
athletics.
It's probably like an opposed power test sort of thing, right? Like
they're
like opposing you, like setting
sense.
some sort of obstacle. Let me see if I have some sort of
massive legs or thigh strength, man, to get through that.
Yeah, actually, maybe instead of stepping up, I can do like a Gandalf bubble. You can just like push everybody out. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe that'd be harder. I just think it would look cooler. But if it's the same test, I'll do that instead.
It's like in Return of the King, the video game, when like the door opens and then he's just standing there. And there's like just a bulb around.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do we think? Like the breadth modifiers could be relevant here. Like you're trying to do it against a whole crowd. I'm just trying to figure out what. I don't know if.
Do you make a faith roll?
Like a power.
Faith roll to aid his power or something?
I mean, I guess. Yeah. We could just do like an opposed thing, but then I'll get crushed. There's like a million of them. And also, I probably would have been better off just using power then.
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, let's just do.
I think the most simple answer for you using your magic is probably arcane action, which is ob is 1 plus the obstacle of the test at hand. Right, you're just trying to do something you would be able to like climbing. Yeah. Like
isn't move one of the options? Isn't that one of the?
Yeah, pushing, leaping, grabbing, thrusting, pass any simple physical test.
Or no, instead of arcane action, isn't move its own thing?
No.
It's not?
Evoke is the other thing, which is a versus test between where you're trying to shove, grab, immobilize, knock down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Well, okay, what what would the ob be for that? If I do like the push outwards, I guess
So
that
that would be like a versus test. In which case, I would just roll like power or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like it doesn't have like a attendant obstacle penalty for that. Let's do that. That's what I was worried about. I was like, they're gonna like roll like 2 dice then, or get 2 successes if that's the case.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
Let me just roll. Let's see. I need to figure out what the actual.
I suppose I wouldn't get any of my sword obs or brawling obs or forks. I mean, if I'm doing that though.
So. No, that's fine. You're just trying to push shove your way out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. I'm just trying to find the right stat block here.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, they're like possessed people, right? You just make it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out like what a. Okay, I'm gonna go with my first instinct. There's a lot of them, but they might roll badly, so we'll see.
It might roll badly. That's never happened for me. It's fine.
3 successes. Yeah, they rolled badly.
Oh, what the heck? Don't tell Gerwin. All right, let's see.
Go.
So 10 dice. Oh, I got 5 in minutes. That's normal. All right.
I think you managed to push out, right? You're climbing back up. We see you very, very slowly and carefully climbing back up out of the pile of.
Well, this was Evoke, right? So I'm just shoving them all out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pushing them all away, climbing out and shoving them away. Yeah.
I imagined like you got the bridge and he's like you can see him in the thing, just like floating around trying to get enough room. And he finally gets enough room to push his hands out and they all like off the bridge.
Right. Like, force. A bunch of the bodies like fall off. Yeah. And you do find yourself surrounded still by like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 of what looks to you like shades, right? Like they're surrounding you. And I think now you like actually fight them, right?
Yeah, all right. And I can't kill them, so that's a thing.
So I'm gonna make this roll here. And we'll see how much they got.
Can I use evocation on my sword to make it magic? I don't know. Not evocation. Potential.
Potential. If you had time, yes, but you do not have time.
That didn't buy me time?
Not enough, I don't think.
Okay.
You could maybe make the roll, but it would be like more difficult because you have to do it quickly.
Okay. I mean, I suppose if I fail, it doesn't help me, so that's probably not. I mean, it would hinder me. Probably not worth it. What are we rolling?
I just rolled their weapon, so like sword against 8.
Oh, okay.
I'll bet.
Eat.
Good.
Ooh, so close.
Ooh. Whoa, so many ones.
Oh my
really
gosh.
bad roll.
God, the worst.
You gonna spend fate?
I decide whether I should spend 2. I guess I should spend 2. I don't want to die.
Yeah, I do have a 6.
3.
If you get 0, that'll be really sad.
Ooh, I tried. If it hadn't been gray, I would have gotten 0.
Yep. Cool.
That's,
so
just really my thought. I was like, oh, it's gray. I shouldn't need it. And I'm like, that's what I think every time before I need it is that I won't need it. And then I always do every single time. So I spent the second fate.
Yeah. So Dellon, I think this is you're fighting these shades and they're puppeting these bodies. Right. And I think there's definitely, you do a really good job, right? Like it's still obviously tight because they're moving in ways that you don't expect them to, and they're more powerful than you expect them to be.
I think he's basically doing like a way that a snake does it, where like he's striking whatever comes closest to lop it off.
Yeah,
and he's just trying to render their bodies useless by like turning them into the Black Knight.
Yep, and you definitely do, and I think like you start to get glimpses of what is actually happening. We at least as the audience understand what's actually happening as we start to get glimpses of this. So
I'm just murdering the other characters, right?
No, you are murdering people. Like they're actually people who are attacking you right now. This is not just in your mind.
Oh, okay.
So
but they're attacking me though, right? They're not just like, hi, Dellon, how are you?
No. They're attacking you. We start to see these are Inquisition members who are like trying to pile drive you and just be like, okay, we got like Dellon's in an illusion. We have to kill this guy, right? Like pile on him. They're trying to kill a shard bearer right now, right? Like,
right. I have another question. Did I throw any of the other characters off the bridge when I did that?
Well, possibly. We'll see.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't think about that until just now.
In Dellon's mind, they're all bad guys, but they're all just a small dedicated group of Scientologists.
In my head, I'm like, oh, they're all in different places, but no, they just think they're in different places. They're all right there.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, sorry.
You're good. I think that would be fun if at least one of the characters falls off the bridge and doesn't know that that's what's happening. So, anyway. So Dellon, we see like a spurts of like blood come out of the bodies that shouldn't come out in the way that they're happening.
Yeah, sure.
Like the bodies, and we see the shades once you like cut up the bodies enough, the actual people are dead. But like the shades are still coming after you, but like it's still an illusion, so you still think you're being attacked. But obviously at this point, you don't think you can kill the shades, so you're just like,
So I'm fighting things that are dead, but I don't know they're dead.
Exactly, and your sword is going right through them, not because you can't kill them, but because there is nothing actually attacking you anymore. Right?
Of course, I mean, if this is an illusion, I mean, the sword is physically going through nothing, but it might have the sensation of going through something to me, right? Like I might still think.
I think it doesn't. I think that's part of the thing that's happening here is like you feel like you're going through nothing, so you feel a little desperate, like and useless, like you're like I don't know what to do at this point, but like it seems like their armor is keeping them away for some reason. Right now, you're just kind of being stalled, like you're fighting nothing, right? We see we get a shot of what's really happening. Dellon just swinging at nothing through the air, right, and there's dead bodies all around him. Right?
That's funny.
Yeah. Cool. And then we'll cut back to Alfons for a moment here. I do think that like we see the spike go through the two of them, and we see the shadow of Liren behind the two of them, right? Liren just killed Lydio for betraying him, basically for like not doing what he was supposed to do. And we see Yuma like get stabbed, and she is she's starting to bleed. Alfons, right in front of you. She got like a gut wound.
He's bleeding. What?
And that's the moment where Dellon pushes you off the bridge, Alfons. So Alfons,
do I push Yuma off too?
Maybe, you don't know. Like Alfons just kind of tumbles, and part of it is like he doesn't understand what's happening to him. His body is interpreting it weirdly, where like he feels like he's falling, but like he doesn't actually fall. Like the illusion is still him planted on the bridge, right?
Like he's in VR and his character just got thrown off a bridge, but he's standing still.
Exactly. And so Alfons, you feel the sensation of falling. What do you do?
Can I pop that successful teleportation I've had in store?
You just go away from this?
I mean, it would just be to David's house or Dellon's house.
You could, but like as far as you can tell, like again, you are still standing on the bridge. Nothing about your vision has changed. You just feel like you're falling, and Yuma is like slides off the spike and is on the ground bleeding to death in front of you.
I mean, I can just teleport back in like 2 seconds.
I suppose, maybe. I'm trying to decide how that. Like, obviously, you could. Okay, this is what happens. Jared, you teleport, into Dellon's house. From your view, nothing has changed. You're right. Like the sensation of falling stops, but Yuma is still dying in front of you.
You go to walk up to Yuma and you just walk into the wall.
Exactly right. Like that's gonna you're gonna still see the illusion in Dellon's house, right?
That's what I'm picturing is actually happening on the bridge. It's like I'm sitting by like the edge of the bridge, like consoling nothing, and then Dellon's like swinging a sword, and then Alfons just standing there doing nothing, and then
he just falls off.
Cantarius is over there like sitting in an imaginary chair, like.
It's like when they play a scene from a musical without the music, or like Ross from Friends without
with a laugh track,
and you're like everything is just weird, and like there's very little sound. A couple people run up to Dellon and get killed. Dellon shoves everyone off the bridge for no reason. Everyone else is just sitting there crying in the corner. It's just like, wait, this was weird.
I'm just picturing Cantarius just like an imaginary cup, and he's just like
sipping tea. Yeah.
All crazy.
So Alfons, you think that you're still on the bridge, right? The sensation of falling has stopped.
But does my body feel like it's like whatever, like on Dellon's kitchen table or something?
I don't know if the floor of the stone floor of his house would feel different enough. Where specifically in his house were you trying to teleport yourself?
I assumed it kind of got like messed up though, because I wasn't like from the original
right
starting point. So you decide where.
I'm saying
where comically in his house do I end up?
I think you're just standing in a stone hallway, right? Like no one is actually here right now. I don't think
you're just walking into the privy over and over again.
I think you're just standing alone in a hallway, and so like the stone underneath your booted feet still feels like the stone of the bridge. Like you for your perspective, it's like you try to teleport, and the sensation of falling stopped, but nothing else has changed about what you're seeing.
Well, I obviously go towards Yuba.
Yeah, and I think
face first into a wall.
Yeah, well, I think you walk down the hallway, right? Like we see you walk down the hallway. I think for now the illusion is held that you don't actually run into anything quite yet. Like there's not enough space between you and Yuma. You walk down the hallway. You lean against you lean towards what you think is Yuma. I think the only thing that's changed now is that Yuma to you before seemed very real. Now, for some reason, there's a slight haziness to her, and you're not sure if it's just like whatever that black spike did, like is like making her disintegrate or go fuzzy or like disappear or something. You're not sure what's happening.
Can I touch her?
You kind of feel like you're touching her.
You gotta ask for permission first. Come on.
It does feel to you, Alfons, like the way your brain would probably interpret it is as if the black spike is making her fade out of existence, right? What's actually happening is Yuma was actually there, and now she's not actually there, and you're kind of going through nothing. But like the illusion is sort of holding, where like you feel some sort of resistance, but like it's like you can pass your hand through her, and she's like slowly fading. What do you do?
I can put my okay. I mean, if I can put my hand through her, I'd assume it's an illusion, not that she's just like dust.
You can assume whatever you would like. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Although we did imply that because of how good his success was, the fact that it's an illusion, like this stuff feels logical.
There's obviously weird things happening right now, but like it does still seem like a dream in which everything that's happening does feel real. But there is a slight change, and it's just that like Yuma's actually not there anymore. She was before, but now she's not, and so there's a slight haziness to her figure. You feel resistance as you put. It's not like you put your hand right through her. It's that you're starting to feel your hand sink into her as if she is fading.
Is there a magic system that does that?
You could make a 9 disciplines wise test or something similar, magic wise, whatever that would be. To like,
demon
magic wise. Let's go.
Sure, you can make a magic wise test to try to decipher that.
What's the ab?
Let's just make it graduated. Let's see how many you can get. So just ob 1.
Never tell them the ab.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
that's true. Because once you know the ob, you have to roll. So
do you have the skill?
No.
It's just being learned. Okay, so you only got 1 success in actuality.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll spend 2 fate. Why not?
Sure.
I got 40.
So yeah, every 2 successes you get is technically 1 success.
Wow.
You're disgusting.
Yeah,
disgusting human being. Where do you fate?
Well, you spend fate after the roll, and I always succeed in my roll, so I never need to spend them.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, it stays 1.
Yeah. So as far as you know, this is believable, right? You don't know enough about the other magic
cast essential discipline on her then to try to heal her.
Yeah, and I think what we see here is this is Alfons healing nothing in a hallway all by himself while Yuma is actually dying somewhere else.
There's just like a broken vase, and he puts his hand next to it, and then the vase fixed. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
What's the roll to heal?
The magic he's trying to do doesn't work on vases, and so I think literally, I think that's what happens. You feel the shards of a vase, and it's maybe like a tech-oni vase, right? So just to be thematically appropriate, right? Sure. But like, we see your hands go on, and you do it, Alfons, but nothing happens because like, and part of it is like you feel like nothing happens. You understand that like it's not working, but you think. It's just, I'm not trying hard enough. Like this
like
thing that's happening to her.
Can't feel her essence, right?
Exactly.
That's what
her
it
essence
is
fading
like
or something. Yeah. So you don't. We'll cut away from you for a bit here, right? Alfons is doing that. So Theo, let's cut to you real quick. I know we're starting to rapidly run out of time here, but I want to make sure we're getting all these pieces. Theo, let's go with your idea. I do like that. So what? Where do we leave off with yours again?
Basically, I stabbed her.
You stabbed her. Okay. Yeah.
Transitions into that. What I said.
Okay. Yeah. Let me look at it again.
So I'm picturing him like sitting on the ground with her body in his hand, almost like parallel to the last time. Asia is like in his hands, but this time he's got a knife in his hand, and he's the one who stabbed her.
Yeah. Okay. So I see two different ideas here. Which one did you want to go with?
The first one.
The first one. Okay. So then
it transitions.
I get what you're saying. Yep. It's both. Yep. Yeah, I get it. The faith test that you made, right? You were trying to decide what to do about this situation, right? Do I heal Achia? Do I what do I do? Well, what do I do, God? And God basically tells you, and I'm trying to think how it would be framed. Is it like you failed? Oh, okay. It's come home, right? Okay. So I'm trying to think of how that makes sense, though. Like, what version of that would make the most sense to Theo? Where it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. So you, H is dying. Sorry, H is dying in front of you. And you see, there's like a staircase in the monastery, right? And down the staircase comes Kylea, your actual, your wife. Shining halo aura of holiness, right? She walks down the stairs, and suddenly you can just feel like the stairs. If you walk up those stairs, like you're back in heaven, right? And she walks over to you, and H is still dying on the ground. She looks at her with like disgust, and then looks at you, and then says, like, "I told you that you were meant to belong to me. It is time for you to come home, Theo." And you feel like the urge to like just take the dagger and stab yourself. And that's part of it is like you feel like you failed. Like H is dead, so like what's even the purpose of staying on Earth, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. So you do.
And this is where I think he's like, because he's just like snap. He just snaps. And I think part of him is thinking he's like deceived by Narani again or something like this is Narani like playing some trick on him. Yep. But he's not sure, but he doesn't even care at this point because he's like, I'm being deceived by Kylea. And so I think he's just like, he's like deciding in his head, like not reading what he's doing, but he's like, am I going to stab myself or am I going to stand up and stab Kylea?
Yeah.
And I think that
the faith test is telling you to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like this impulse that you think is from God to just come home, rest.
I mean, I want to say he stands up and kills her. I feel like that's what his like defiant thing, but it would be like it would be counter his belief. Well, I guess if Aisha's dead, so I guess if Kylea is kind of
no, that's right. We can pause from there, right? We can say like we see you may have to make this choice, and you're like just deciding. And then we cut to Cantarius, and we'll see how quickly he can unravel the whole thing, right? Because you can still we can have it coincide. You're making that choice coincide with like Cantarius, like revealing the truth to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Connor, you there? I don't think he is.
Cantarius, no.
Because I want to make sure we get this last bit with Connor, and then we'll call it. We're obviously gonna have to go into the next session and wrap this up. But
I want to see if he like just like succeeds in like a going against.
I think what we left off on was basically right. He wanted to see his son's invention, and then he was showing him like gunpowder, and then the whispers are starting to rise again, and things are like getting creepy.
I think for me, like if he doesn't, I have an idea of like how to transition from my scene to just like reality.
Sure.
If he succeeds, so you probably don't need to come back to me. Even probably next.
Yeah, I think we've reached the end of all three of yours. We just need to finish up with Cantarius and see how he unravels the thing, right? But if Connor is not showing up,
hey, he didn't even give us 3 minutes. He was supposed to give us until 11.
Till 9. Yeah, yep.
I mean, maybe we could do end of session stuff while we wait for
that's
him,
what I was
to
just gonna
be
suggest.
efficient. Yeah.
Yep. Let's go ahead and just do those. Oh wait. Oh, there he is. There he is.
I see him. Right there.
Connor, do you have to go like right now, or can we try to wrap up your?
And we were late, so
What?
I'm the reason we were late. So go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we can see how that kind of ends there.
Yeah.
So Cantarius, I think the main thing is that you're like starting to hear all these whispers, right? And it becomes obvious to you that something is very, very wrong. So even though Winter is like showing you, like you feel like you have everything you wanted, right? Like your wife is alive, your grandfather is proud of you, your father is proud of you. Your son is a great inventor. You have a responsibility that you're living up to, but you hear these whispers, and they're starting to become legible to you, right? Like you can actually hear what they're saying now. And they're saying things like, this isn't real. You don't deserve this. You have to see the truth. You failed, right?
Oh, what if like Winter looks at him and is like, this isn't real. Wake up. And it's like,
we'll see I want to see what Cantarius does in
whispering, or I just hearing the whispers in the background.
Yeah, so like when other people are talking, when there's other noises happening, there's like these whispers that are starting to like become like underneath their voices and stuff. You're starting to hear what they're actually saying.
And they were saying,
this isn't real. You failed. Like, you don't deserve this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like while everyone is like happy and Winter's like smiling and showing everybody what it is, and like I think Cantarius just has that like he doesn't quite get it yet, so he stands up and like looks around the house for like something to like clean or put away, or like something to do, something to fix, something to He's like, well, what if I can just go do this real quick. Then I can sit down and rest.
Yeah, and you, obviously your wife has continued to like look concerned at you. I think your father at this point has started, like, he hasn't said a whole lot, and it's almost like he's just like, he kind of like leans back and he's like asleep at this point.
Yeah.
Winter is the one who, like, I think he's still animatedly talking about his invention. But then your wife basically says, like, she's like, no, Cantarius, like, come sit down. But you feel like that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And so you like start to like walk away to like go try to fix something. You maybe like there's a painting that's crooked, and that's when your son stops and grabs your wrist. And in Liren's voice, he says, "We're not done here, Father."
Get off me, William Dafoe.
What do you do?
We'll meet again, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think. I think he says, "I'm sorry. There's just something I need to do. There's something that you need from me."
What's more important than family?
Nothing. But I haven't finished my work yet. And I think maybe he like goes to go out to like his like weapon.
I think you get to the door basically, right? The door of like the living area, and like slide it open, and then you hear the voice continue. And he says from the table still, "Your work is never going to be done, Cantarius. Nothing you do will ever be finished. Not even your own, not even your own death will accomplish everything you hope. It will only be another failure in a long line of failures."
This is a rude kid. Sorry.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, you're grounded.
Discipline. Yeah.
I just want to rest. When I'm dead, I can rest.
You'll never rest. There is no rest for the wicked. We will join you in hell, Cantarius.
I think he starts to hyperventilate it. There's no rest for the wicked. What was the last thing you said, though?
We will join you in hell, Cantarius.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay.
So this is the point where like Cantarius could try to like find out what's happening, right? Like he could try to like make a roll to like.
Clearly something's wrong here.
Yep.
But that's a very, I mean, that's his worst fear. So I think it's probably like this is too frightening to be true. Like, have a moment like instead of it too good to be true. Okay, intellectual discipline.
Yeah, probably right. You're trying to aura read, I assume. What do you want to know? Right? What are you trying to find out? Do you want to just break the spell? Is that what you're like trying to find out? Like, there's an illusion on me. Is that the idea?
Yes, which would be intellectual discipline, right?
Yep. Just an ob 5 to know that there is an illusion.
Sorry, Mickey and Ezra were roughhousing.
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, sorry, intellectual discipline. What were we saying?
Ob 5 to just know it's a spell, right? Like there is an illusion on me right now, and then from there you can figure out more.
Do I get any advantages for having celestial sight and /or sensory discipline?
It's 5 because of celestial sight. It would be 6 otherwise.
Can I forget sensory discipline or no?
Sensory, yeah, it's fine. Yep.
You have the intellectual discipline, right? Connor?
Mm-hmm.
Can he?
That's what he's using. He's forking in sensory.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm doing his aura reading stuff.
Yeah, I thought he was rolling aura reading, so I was thinking intellectual would make sense.
No, he's proxying aura reading. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Putting 2 persona into it. Of course.
Oh, so close. Man, that was a really bad roll. You can spend 1 fate to reroll 1 failed die.
Great effort, or that works too, I guess.
I don't know what's going to happen if he fails.
We all die.
Well, the
in my aura of holiness, give him a +1.
No, I don't think so.
It's too bad. It's too bad Cantarius left. I'm not Cantarius. Alfons left. You'd have got 2 from his.
Yeah, it's true. Just being magic. There. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You pushed me off the bridge, so I don't know if that would count anyway.
Yeah, well, when I said left, I meant it's too bad I shoved you off the bridge, I guess. You should use your call on.
I don't know if Aura of Determination makes sense here, right? He's just trying to find out the spell. It's not like a steel test or like a giant effort everybody's putting forward. The wording is pretty specific in the revised version.
I guess.
Yeah. It's unfortunately not, and you can literally use it for anything. It's like a great effort of like here I'll read it again.
Yeah, it's a great effort of breaking through the illusion. You know,
I'll read it again. We had to go through this last time.
Well, okay. I was gonna say
during a great group effort. Yeah, it has to be a group effort.
We're all contributing.
Cantarius is the only one able to do this role in the first place, or anything like it. So,
do you have a call on though?
No,
that would have been the call on, but
he doesn't have a regular call on for it.
Oh,
so this basically means you don't know that there's an illusion on you, so you think it's real. So we could call it there, just be like, okay, guys, you're trapped in the illusion next session too, and we'll keep going.
Well, I mean, like, we could. I mean, we could continue, and then it just can't be Cantarius that fixes it.
That's true. That's true.
Because like I could still, I mean, I could use a deeds point to get us out of this.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, so let's have it be like this. Cantarius is too overwhelmed by all of this, right? This is his deepest, darkest fear. You succumb to like the fear and the panic of all of this. You do not think it's a spell. Your aura reading tells you this is real, right? Like everything confirms that.
Yeah, so that's the thing about being so reliant on a special sense is that when it lies to you, you're just going to assume it's true, right?
So I'm curious what the last thing we see from Cantarius is, as like you fully envelop in this nightmare.
That was a question for me, right? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah, what does it look like?
Panic attack.
Yeah, I mean,
going to the fetal position.
I think, I think he probably falls into hell, right?
Right. You just get dragged down. Yeah.
I think Winter kills him in the nightmare, right? He like stabs him or something. And he
Yeah.
he
Okay.
can-
Yeah. So Winter steps over, right? Winter steps over. And it's still in Willem Dafoe's voice, but it's it's Winter. You think it's Winter still, right? It's just that we as the audience are hearing this. And he just says, "It's time to go, Father." And then he just stabs you in the chest. And I think that's probably what it is like this is Liren actually stabbing you, right? You are not able to. You are. We'll figure out what that is for next time. But I think the illusion has fooled you. You actually get stabbed. You don't probably die or anything, but like the next time you're gonna have to deal with like you're bleeding out, like you're fully involved with the nightmare. But like I think what we see, so Cantarius, like you tried to use aura rating, right, to like figure out what's happening, and like it becomes clear to you, you are seeing things. They're just all the lies, right? But the one thing we do see that feels the realest to you is the whispers that you've been hearing. It's suddenly as if you can see the sound, right? The whispers that are below all of the everything around you,
the demons,
becomes some sort of shimmering, like it's like hands like reaching up. Every whisper is like a hand reaching up to grab your leg and drag you down into hell. And eventually the crescendo is reached of all the hands and all the whispers, and you just get yanked down into yanked up into the abyss, right? Like black tendrils just come down to claim you, and
you just like turn into smoke again.
Yeah, right. And you just go away. And it looks at all intents and purposes like Cantarius is like lost in this, and we'll figure out what happens next time with all that. Cool. I love that for Cantarius. I think it's gonna be way more dramatic to have you
got shanked and sent to hell. I love that for you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. I do too. Yeah, it's really it's a good moment for me.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy having 3 penalty dice for this entire rest of the game.
Yeah, we'll see how bad the wound is next time, but
it'll give me a reason to use my deeds point.
True. All right. Yeah.
Like walking.
Okay, let's go ahead and do our thing. Get out of here.
I can't stay for bits though, so.
Oh, okay.
Bye-bye. My video on. Well,
yeah, can you leave your video on for just a second? Yeah, that'd be great.
But I'll
turn off the video. Yeah, leave the laptop on. Yeah, that'd be great. Otherwise, it'll just break everything. All right, cool. Let's give Connor his Arthur real quick here. So the world is more than blood and gold. I will use the intellectual discipline to clear the obstacles in my path despite the risks. He did get a fate point for that because he failed. The world will not end, not on my watch. We will reach Faustus. He's attempting to do so, so we'll get a fate point for that. I am a demon hunter, but my friends come first. I will make sure all of my friends stay alive as we battle the nightmares.
Nobody's dead yet.
Yeah. He's I guess attempting. Always deciphering auras. Always offer forgiveness to those who repent. Always be on the hunt for demons.
I feel like it'd be cool to give him fate for always deciphering auras because that was kind of why he believed it. I mean, narratively,
that was what I was
right?
going to think it too. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Any traits stuff for him?
I don't know what his traits are. Maybe he resigned to. I mean, like the whole thing was about him giving up and like not his sacrifice not being worth it and stuff, right?
Yeah. It would be either aura of martyrdom or resigned to death, but we'll give him one for one of those. And then extra Arthur for him. No, obviously no humor.
Yeah.
No right skill, right time, really. Embodiment, I think, right? Like Cantarius, he did a good job showing us all that stuff.
If intellectual discipline had worked, I would have said right.
I know,
right
exactly.
Time, but it failed.
Yeah. All right, Dellon.
Yeah.
I will ensure that its leaders are punished and its membership disbanded. You're working towards it. You do have to like take out Liren.
I disbanded some members.
You disbanded some of the members. Yep. Disarmed them too, quite literally.
Yeah. Dismembered
take fate for that.
the members.
Yep.
Right. I'm trying to get to Faustus.
Yeah. So you a fate point. Yeah, you're working on it.
Get through the illusion. Obviously working on that.
Yep.
I
don't think you worked on the last one though.
Yeah.
Right, because it's about actually expelling the demon. And Faustus.
Yeah.
Nothing instincts wise.
Yeah, nothing bad happened to me really, except for what happened last session when I got sucked into an illusion. So
Yep.
I just killed everybody.
Mm-hmm. I think I would like to suggest humor fate point for you, Dellon, for suggesting like in character, I like shove everyone off the building or off the bridge, right?
Throwing Alfons off the bridge.
Yeah,
right?
that was pretty funny, and that was from you, right? So you can get paid for that. But I think that's probably it for you.
Sweet.
Cool. So it's not really Dellon's forte.
Yeah, that's right.
Alfons. You didn't work on ensuring your son is saved, but you're trying to defeat the ones causing the vision, so fate point. You're trying to escape the vision, fate point. It just didn't work.
Back to 41. Let's go.
Instincts. Always find a reason to use my powers. I think we should give you a fate point for that one. Like, you literally are healing nothing because you teleported away from this, right? You could have. Yuma was actually there. She was actually stabbed, and she's probably going to die now because you teleported away.
Because David pushed me off of a bridge. I wouldn't have been able to heal her anyway.
Yeah. Well, you could have.
Well, no, he's saying he couldn't have because I pushed her off the bridge.
If I was in the water off the edge of the bridge,
drowning,
walking to her would have been the same.
Right. You'd just be drowning instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we can blame David.
Sure. We can.
I'll take another fate. Thanks.
Just kidding. But yeah, nothing else there. Trait wise, I don't think, or instinct wise. All right, cool.
Yeah.
This was mostly Cantarius and Theo. I think we focused on. All right, Theo. You made a faith test, but it didn't count for anything. How do we? I think because I'm pretty sure we decided before that you actually have to earn a test towards it. It has to count for a test to get a fate point.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
We disconnected. Fun.
That's
all right. I'm recording locally. There's one god. The rest are demons. I will help find and defeat Faustus and secure the keys. I don't think you worked on that one this time, but you did work on Belief 3. Not so much that like you made any particular action, but like that was the reason all the things were happening, right? Like, we get to see that front and center in the story, so you can take a fate point for Belief number 3. You're about your loved ones. I don't know if your instincts actually came into play. I was thinking about that first one of like some way to like present you with like a temptation of power, but I don't think it ever came up. It could have been cool, but otherwise, I don't know if because you haven't actually decided whether or not to like kill yourself yet. So like, there's nothing too drastic happening yet for Theo. I think it'll come to a head next time.
At all.
Yeah.
When we stop the stream, I have an idea of what I think would be really cool.
I'll give you embodiment though. I'll give you embodiment for like all the scenes with H and Kylia. We're good. You can take a persona for that. All right, cool. I think that's it. All right, we'll be back next time with some more Crow Inquisitors as all of our characters descend into madness and sadness. Cantarius specifically.
Madness and sadness.
Yep. It'll be satisfying when Cantarius actually gets out of this, whether or not it's Theo having to save him or he manages to get out of himself. But it'll happen one way or the other. I'm confident of that. You're not all gonna die here.
I'll just kill invisible things until I accidentally kill the right invisible thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just swing your sword randomly. There you go.
Everybody's dead, including Lyric. And he's just like, we're all dead, but just Dellon's alive.
And I'm just waiting for the scene to end. I'm just still swinging them.
Yeah. All right, this has been Crow Inquisitors. We're out. Adios.